right, folks, we are back, and we've got special guest remoting in Trent Loos from On the Loose on this very network. Trent, welcome aboard, my friend.
I was checking in to see what the doctor ordered today. I was hoping it was something of medicinal value.
Oh, it is, my friend.
It's definitely medicinal value. You know, there are some guests that I'm really looking forward to having, and Trent, you are one of those guests that I so look forward to. You crack me up, first of all, but you're so entertaining to me whenever I watch you. And I want, for those who've never met you or never heard you on the radio or never seen you before, would you just give me a little bit of your background so that people can get to know you a little bit?
Wait a minute, Lori. I've met everybody. Everybody's heard me on the radio. I don't even know what you're talking about.
I know. We do have some folks in different areas that do watch the show, though, too. So maybe different parts of the country may not know who you are.
Okay.
Possible.
Nice qualifier. Before I get to that, apparently my software that I'm using to join you in studio, even though I'm not in North Dakota, is licensed to my daughter because it says Lindsay Loos down here in the corner. And I'm not Lindsay. I'm Lindsay's dad. So apparently I'm pirating my daughter's software.
Interesting.
We figured when it said LOOS, we were
well, that's
golden,
not popping up, so you're good.
Yeah, we
also,
can't see that.
I do think that Lori's got a point. There may be a segment of our viewership that are not aware of you, primarily because I'm guessing your viewership is in bed already by the time our show airs.
Wait a minute. Why do you have to verify Lori has a point? Lori can make her own point without you saying,
right.
You know, Lori's got a point.
I'm just
welcome to my world.
I'm just
I can see
that
where
manner.
you need help with this, Lori. I'm going to be here to tag team more often.
All right, I love that too.
I grew up on a farm. My family came from Germany in 1832 to Quincy, Illinois, which is north of St. Louis, not even close to Chicago. My mother, we lost my father 4 years ago this past week to Alzheimer's at the age of 72. My mother still lives on the home farm where the first Loos came to from Germany in 1832. And so my roots are pretty deep in agriculture, although I did not want to be a part of raising our daughters in which we have three in Illinois, because it's just become so urbanized. And I love the Great Plains of America. When North Dakota would not have me, we settled back in Sherman County, Nebraska, where my wife grew up. Kelly grew up right here. We're 12 miles from her parents, which is absolutely fantastic. Eldon and Elsie Keebers are still 81 years old. And I often say, and people look at me all wonky-eyed, like it should not be a treat for your kids to see their grandparents. And so many of us grew up where we had grandpa and grandma right there, and we could learn from three generations. And now we live in such a transient society that kids, and I'm speaking a little bit of myself as a hypocrite because my mother and father were 500 miles away, but we moved back to Sherman County from living on the Rosebud Indian Reservation and ranching there with cows for 5 years, which was a fascinating project in itself. But an accumulation of all of my time and just being passionate about agriculture and everything, food production, I recognize that people don't know enough about where their food comes from. More importantly, too much of what they know isn't so. And so in 1999, while living on the Rosebud Reservation, I said to Kelly, I said, you know, we can continue to whine about what it is that people don't know, or we can begin telling them what really is going on, who, where, and how is producing their food, fiber, pharmaceuticals, and fuel. And so I walked into a guy's radio studio in Spearfish, South Dakota. Many people know him. A longtime rodeo announcer, part-time, one-time state senator, Jim Thompson. I said, hi, my name is Trent Loos, sixth generation United States farmer. I want my own radio show.
Subtle.
Yeah. And he looked at me and he laughed, and he's exactly where I can still see him saying this. Yeah, you and every other American. And I said, sir, I'm not leaving until we get a deal. I sat down, and 21 years later, Loose Tales can be heard on 100 radio stations in 100 states with about 3 million daily radio listeners. And I continue to find ways to use the word loose into any type of media delivery you can possibly come up with. Loose from the hip.
Did he just say 100 states? Last I checked, there were not that many. That sounds like a 57 states thing. So you're nationwide, I'm assuming, when you say 100 states. You said 100 stations, but 100 states?
Did I say 100 states?
Yeah. Did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, Lori is kind of a ball buster, Trent. I got to apologize for
So
her.
Well,
sorry.
if I said
gonna let it
100
slide.
states, I should have my balls busted, and I haven't been in the hooch yet, but maybe I should start.
We need you in the studio so that you can enjoy the Bourbon Bureau as it is. I mean, you really probably need to come and visit again.
Okay, so let's clarify. Being we have fact checker Lori alongside. 21 states,
Okay.
100 radio stations in 21 states. That would be accurate.
That's a lot.
You said I
That's
think something on the order of 20 years or more. Has the format and the content of your show more or less been consistent? Because that's a long time.
It has been consistent, although it's interesting, Rick, that you asked me that this week, because I've had some people trying to bust my balls in other ways this week, saying that, back in the old days, you were an advocate for agriculture. Now you're just talking about the bad things the left do in politics. And I'm like, well,
same thing.
What the left is doing in politics is putting a crimp on your food supply. So I think you might want to pay attention. But you know why I think it's significant? And Lori's already touched on a bit, because she was talking about me always out gallivanting around. And I've been very fortunate to speak to audiences in 48 states. I've spoken to audiences on 4 continents. Lori can fact check all of that if she likes. But what I've continued to bring to the forefront is the people. And no matter where I go, it was a lot of years. In fact, it was 21 years to be exact, Rick, since I said I started. But it was probably 10 or 12 years until I interviewed a politician. Everybody interviews politicians. I want to interview the grassroots people that make up the United States and the world. And I remember the very first politician I interviewed. It was the South Dakota governor, who was quite flamboyant, and you just could not put a microphone in front of him when you had Governor Bill Janklow. And it was at Custer State Park when he was chasing bison with the state-issued Escalade. And I asked him, is that a good move? Anyway, so he was the very first, and the second one I interviewed was my own governor, Pete Ricketts, who, by the way, has only been in elected office. He's now coming on his 7th year, because he's going to term out next year. So that's until recently, I just did not talk to elected officials. I talked to people that make up the fabric of America.
I like Pete Ricketts, so I do like Pete Ricketts. Yeah, what I know of him.
He's the best governor in the nation.
The show, so you've transitioned now on Beck to a TV show, and do you find in prep for the TV show that you're able to really take all of it from what you're doing in radio and transpose it, or because it's a different medium, do you need to think about things differently?
21 years, people told me, well, Trent, I see why you do radio. You got a face for radio. And I just wanted to prove them wrong. I wanted to say, hey, I can show my face and have something to say, too.
I have a business card, by the way, for you, Trent, after the show.
Are you going to deliver it, or how am I going to get that?
Yeah, I don't know.
It just cracks me up. I don't know.
No, look, it's no different whether you're doing radio or television. Everybody you talk to tells me, for example, I'm in Ohio the other day with Henry Hampton, who's got this phenomenal place called The Farm. Nearly 40,000 people a year pay him to come to his farm and pay him to shoot pumpkins out into his pond. They shoot 15,000 pumpkins a year into his pond, and they pay $1 a piece to do that. He goes and recovers the pumpkins, and they shoot the same pumpkins the next day. And I told Henry, I want to put you on the air. I want to put you on TV. I want to put you on Trent. I don't have anything to say, Trent. Everybody's got something to say. And if you're a good listener, all you need is one line. They'll say something that you can expand upon, and you put them at ease, and they just share their story that other people can relate to.
I would totally pay $1 to shoot a pumpkin into a pond. 100%. That sounds like so much fun. Is it like a trebuchet or what? Is it like
you can go to
projectile?
becknews.com and check out the Trent on the Loose feature. You can go watch that show.
It's
available.
I'm going to do it.
Is he on the phone?
Well, I'm trying to call Dr. Becker and wish him happy birthday, but he's not answering my call. What the heck?
He is answering the phone. Okay, this is cool.
Yeah, I want to wish you happy birthday. See if you want to go out for dinner or what's going on.
That's so nice.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, he cracks me up. Okay, so I forgot what I asked already.
Okay, listen. You have been
October
doing this for
15th. October 15th.
That's when you started. Okay, that's right.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
Sorry. That's all right. Thanks for the answer. All right.
I
Shoot, Becker.
stampeded right over your question.
Go
Whatever
ahead.
that Monday was, well, I think it might have been the 18th actually.
Did you like
I
that
think,
stampede? I'm using the parlance of our guest.
You
'cause I'm a
stampeded
good
right
host.
over that. That was
So,
very good.
Yeah,
21 years. You like to talk to regular people.
I do.
And
no,
It-
no, no. I want to correct you.
yes.
I like to listen to regular people.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good distinction. In discussing things with them on your show, which you provide then to all of your listeners / viewers, do you find that what you bring out from them is educational? Are you informing people, or is it good, wholesome entertainment? And you're probably going to say both. And in which case, what % do you apply to each category?
You really don't need me for this conversation, do you? I mean, you know the answers to questions before you ask them. So the interesting thing about that is that I started to educate people about agriculture. Quickly, I learned people don't want to be educated. And so if you don't provide an element of entertainment, there will be no education. And I don't know what the exact formula is, if it's 30-30-30. So 30% education, 30% entertainment, 30% just fly by the seat of your pants, which works really well for me. And so, but there is a formula that's involved in that. And if I am not educating people with what I'm doing, I got some critters out there that I need to go take care of instead of continuing to do what I'm doing.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, if you're not being productive in meeting your goals, then you can do something else. I feel the same way. Do you find that because your approach is apolitical, I gather that you probably align with what we'd say is right or Republican. Do you distance yourself a little bit just in discussion on your programming, or are you full into the right-left dichotomy?
I want to hear everybody. I don't have an opinion that shuts everybody else out. Certainly lean right. I have no bones about telling anybody that. I believe in less government intervention. I believe that the people need to stand up. The people need to. I have no time whatsoever for people that sit back and say, what are you going to do for me? No, what are you going to do for yourself? It's all about what this book has that I carry in my pocket every single day, no matter where I travel. It's called the United States Constitution, and it tells me, based upon another book called the Bible, which, by the way, we have 10 commandments and 10 in the Bill of Rights. I don't think that's any accident, but it clearly tells me that I need to be a part of shaping the future for my kids, not expect some elected official, even though that might be Governor Pete Ricketts, who's a personal friend and I think the greatest governor that we've had in this state. I don't expect him to take a part in shaping my kid's future. I reach out to him once a week and tell him where he was screwing up and where he's not and where it's good. I sent him a thank you today because he was doing some things that I didn't think were spot on. This week he did good, so I gave him an A.
That is wonderful.
I like that.
Talk about keeping somebody accountable. I think that's fantastic. And I was going to just kind of throw out more of a statement than a question and just say, I think that this is the perfect marriage between programming and Beck television, because it seems like you're a perfect fit. Now, what I want to know about that, and I do think you're a perfect fit for this network, but did they reach out to you, or did you just walk in like you did in that Spearfish radio station and say, you need to have me on your TV station?
Actually, a little of both. So a long time ago, and I don't know what that was, like a year and a half ago, so now, I got a phone call from some guy named Derek. And he was putting together this new programming schedule, and he liked what I did on the radio and thought that if I would take my roll route program, put some TV cameras in here, that we could make an interesting TV program, as well as go along with complement what we were doing with radio. I didn't have the vision on how that could work. And I just didn't see how, because I did TV for a while, and it was on a cable network, and it required people. And even though I like people, I can't travel with people. I'm like the lone wolf. I have to be by myself. And so TV was too cumbersome for me because you can't do it by yourself. Well, I've proven now that you can do it by yourself. Well, at least I think I have, and that's all that matters. But all of that said, I kind of just forgot about that. And then a year ago in April, I'm in Bismarck for the Lignite Energy Council. And these ladies with Another View, they're just complete whack jobs. I don't know if you met them or not. But anyway, they invited me to come in and be a part of their program. And I talked them into changing the name of their show that day to Ladies of Another View and a Dude.
Nice.
And so the dude then got introduced to Derek, who I had forgotten he had called. And yeah, here we are.
The rest, as they say, is history.
It's been perfect. Yeah.
Well, you're all over Tarnation. I don't know how you do it. I mean, how often are you traveling? You travel all the time.
Well, not often enough, according to my wife. Usually, when my bag is packed and in the pickup, I know that I'm supposed to be going somewhere. But I'm on the road about 200 nights, 200 to 220 nights a year.
Wow.
I have spoken in 41 states in 2021.
That's commitment, boy.
No joke.
Wow. Wow. Are you involved with any, say, rodeo circuits or anything where they want you to be on annually, or maybe follow a little bit of the rotation or what have you? Anything like that?
I'm a rodeo fan, but I'm not a part of any rodeo circuit.
Gotcha.
Anybody who would travel with me would say, dude, you're enough of a rough ride. You don't need to go to any more rodeos than necessary.
Okay, I've got last question for you, Trent.
Okay.
Of all the things that we're facing as a nation, what is the one thing that you think, by bringing it to your audience through education, so forth, you have the best hope of making a difference?
To cease complacency as a citizen.
Love it. And concise, too. The guy's all that in a bag of chips. Wow.
Well, I agree. You know, if we can affect change in that realm, everything else takes care of itself.
Yep,
I think you're
it's
right.
all true.
Very well said.
Trent, thank you so much for
Thanks for the
assenting to being on the
invitation.
phone. Yeah, it was really, really fun talking to you. We'll have you back. And when you are back in Bismarck, you're going to have to sit right over here.
I'll
So
pour
you're
you a
gonna
glass of
call
whiskey.
it. So then you're gonna change the name to No Apologies and a Dude.
And a dude.
No.